They say, oh my God, I see the way you shine. Take your hand, my dear, and place them both in mine. You know you stopped me dead while I was passing by. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. And oh my, I like your style. You make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, eh, eh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. I said, oh my God, I see you walking by. Take my hands, my dear, and look me in my eyes. Just like a monkey, I've been dancing my whole life. But you just beg to see me dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. And oh my, I like your style. You make me wanna cry. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So they say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, eh, eh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. They say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, 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 oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, eh, eh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. Dance for me, oh, oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, eh, eh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again. They say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh, 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 oh. I never seen anybody do the things you do before. They say, move for me, move for me, move for me, eh, eh. And when you're done, I'll make you do it all again, all again.
Welcome to the Billionaire Mindset, your 30-day journey to thinking like a billionaire. Now you can just watch this video, or if you want to sign up for the entire series for free and get the bonus PDF companion calendar, check the link in the description below. Today is day 3, and we're going to learn the routines of billionaires. Enjoy.
You talked about in support of the 996 work routine, and I've got to underscore to those who don't know it, particularly in China, you work 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week, and you were given a hard time because of that, and you backed off a little bit.
No. 996 is the spirit that I encourage in Alibaba people. If you want to have a bright future, if you don't want to be give up by the society, if you want to be successful, you have to work hard. Of course, you can enjoy life. You know, I work only 2 hours a day. And
can you enjoy life with the 996 regime?
Yes, I do. I do.
Do other people in Shenzhen and elsewhere?
I think most of the people in this world, whether they're a great president, whether they're a good professor, or a good engineer, a good scientist, or good anchor, like you work much more than you do. When I have a shower, I think, I work. When I'm in the toilet, I think. When I'm running, I think. We never stop working. Because today, why Alibaba need to 996? Because we, on our side, we have more than 60 million business rely on us. If we don't work hard, they lose their hope. So we have to work hard. But if you don't like your job, if you don't like the work you do, working 2 hours a day, you feel very bad. If you love your jobs, people like me, if I love the job I'm doing, I love the things I'm doing, 10 hours a day, 15 hours a day, it's nothing.
This entrepreneur brand logo was done by a top freelancer on Fiverr.
I think it's also important to reason from first principles rather than by analogy. So the normal way that we conduct our lives is we reason by analogy. We're doing this because it's like something else that was done, or it's like what other people are doing.
Me Too type ideas.
Yeah, slight iterations on a theme, and it's kind of mentally easier to reason by analogy rather than from first principles. But by first principles is kind of a physics way of looking at the world, and what that really means is you kind of boil things down to the most fundamental truths, and say, okay, what are we sure is true, or as sure as possible is true, and then reason up from there. That takes a lot more mental energy.
Give me an example of that. Like, what's one thing that you've done that on that you feel has worked for you?
Sure. So somebody could say, in fact, people do, that battery packs are really expensive, and that's just the way they'll always be, because that's the way they've been in the past. You're like, well, no, that's pretty dumb, because if you applied that reasoning to anything new, then you wouldn't be able to ever get to that new thing.
How do you take a 12 million revenue company to roughly 120 billion revenue company without going public? What is the key secret to doing that?
Well, the secret was that I was, as I said, I didn't feel I was fully using my capabilities. So I read everything I could from all relevant disciplines, all different perspectives, to find principles that I could use and apply in the business and my life to enable me to believe in myself. And I started applying them in business, and they worked. They worked beyond my belief and beyond anything I hoped for. And that absolutely transformed my life. And so my whole life has been looking for principles that will enable me to contribute or improve the principles we're implying and better apply them. And so every day is like I'm reborn.
The most important thing, aside from the things I've talked about already, is really who you associate with. You want to associate with people that are better than you are. I mean, basically, you'll go in the direction of the people that you associate with, and you want to have the right heroes. You want people, if you want to emulate somebody, you better pick very carefully who you want to emulate. And when obviously you can't pick your parents, they're going to have an enormous influence on you, but you don't get a choice on that. But you get choices as you go down the line, and who you admire, who you want to copy, And the most important for most people in terms of that decision is their spouse. It's also important in terms of a partner in business, but the partner in life is the most important one. You want to pick a spouse that's better than you are, and then he or she, and you hope they don't figure it out too fast.
When I worked for other companies, some of them, not to mention any names, were so bad, they would treat people the old way. I'm the boss, here's what you're gonna do because I'm the boss, right? Or there were times, for example, where maybe I had $1 for lunch. You can't get a lot for $1. So I just knew that that's how I was. And if I had a company that I had control of, by gosh, everyone was gonna be treated the way I wanted to be treated. So the minute we could afford it, everyone had free lunch. Whether you had money or not, you have free lunch. We pay for it for you. Carpool will pay for that. So we started doing things for people that I wish happened to me. Maybe that's part of fate. Maybe because a lot of things along the way weren't so good, that as things started getting good, it was so easy for me to share with our people, so easy to do that. People sometimes don't save money. As soon as we possibly could afford it, we started profit sharing. We're at the end of every year, and we'll take that profit sharing and put it in a retirement fund for you. It's yours. It's yours. If you're here so many years, it goes with you no matter where you go. But it's yours. That's your money.
That's really incredible. And how much do you think that sort of golden rule approach has fed into your ridiculously low turnover rate, which is literally almost unprecedented? I mean, that's crazy.
True. I try and treat people exactly the way they'd want to be treated, exactly the way I would have wanted to be treated. I'm happy with my people. I realize my people are the company. If my people go, my God, the company goes. People are your company. And they take care of the customer. The customer is always right no matter what. So what do we do so the customer's happier? If somebody's unhappy, we try and discover why. And because you treat people this way, and we love them. You walk in our company, it's love. If you go to the front desk here in Century City, this girl just has the biggest smile saying, "Hi, welcome to John Paul Mitchell Systems." She loves what she does. Our big problem is we don't have turnover. We have so many people want to work for us, and the thing is, you got to wait for somebody to die. Now, as we grow, we'll add 1 or 2 on, obviously, at a time.
Sure.
And we're pretty big now because we're in 96 countries. It's how you take care of people anywhere in the world. You don't boss them around. You include them in what you're doing.
There's nothing that AI won't impact. As big as having been around a while, I saw the impact of PCs, then I saw the impact of local area networks, then I saw the impact of wide area networks, then I saw the impact of the internet, then I saw the impact of mobile, then I saw the impact of wireless. Now I'm seeing the impact of artificial intelligence, and it dwarfs any of those things. And if I don't understand how to apply it to my businesses, I remember selling PCs and software and walking in saying, you don't need to use that pen and paper on a notepad or a ledger pad. Now we're going to give you a spreadsheet, and by the way, here's a spreadsheet that costs $495, and I had to pay to go get trained on how to sell it, which is crazy now when you think about it. But then we said, okay, now you can play what if. Then we said you can connect these PCs. Unless I understood the technology, how was I going to explain it? How was I going to understand it? Unless I understand it now, how am I going to invest in it? Then I got to go trust somebody who says, oh yeah, I know AI, and maybe they do, maybe they don't. And it's really easy just to say, you figure it out. That's just not my style.
So you're building a base of knowledge, and then you think that at some point it's going to pay dividends in terms of...
It already has.
Right?
I mean, if you truly believe AI is going to change everything, how are you going to understand what people are doing to change everything unless you at least have a foundational understanding of it? Now, I'm not going to build a 1,000,000-layer neural network and try to change the world. I'm not going to I'm not going to write a research paper and saying, here's why the lottery ticket approach works, and you can build smaller neural networks with less data and be more, resource efficient. But I can read that stuff and understand that when somebody says, okay, we're building this project and we need this size data set or this size data set, or we need this amount of resources, I can ask questions and understand the answers.
Hey, Amazon business owners and soon to be Amazon business owners, it's Tim with Allgo Online Retail.
Everything that is happening to us is preparing us for whatever is to come. And literally, we can see that this moment has been a moment to send us all to our rooms, literally, for a timeout. And whether we wanted to or not, it's an opportunity to reset, to reorganize, to rethink where we are and where we want to be and where we choose to go when this pandemic is over and we are released back into a new normal. Everybody keeps saying we want things to go back to normal. Forget that, folks. Forget that. Let go of we want things the way they used to be. We cannot have had this experience without being forever changed. And those of us who are carriers of the light, seekers of the light, as you all are, seeking wellness, know that you have to move into wherever this moment is carrying us. So ask yourself, what could you reset to help yourself be healthier and well in this moment, in these moments that we're experiencing? No question about it. The pandemic, the lockdown, the separation, the social distancing has caused us all to feel some sense of disorder. I feel it too, even though I literally am leaning into every spiritual practice I ever thought I believed in, but it still has caused disorder. And I'm asking myself the same questions that I'm asking you to ask yourself. What can the disorder reorder for you? We cannot let this moment, this extraordinary time that no one in our lifetime has experienced, pass us by and us not get all that it's here to teach, impact, show, and evolve us to. So to me, the cornerstone of any wellness is in vision is focus. So I found myself at the beginning of this pandemic feeling several things. First, when lockdown came, I was excited because, whoa, I thought it was only going to be like 2 weeks, and I was treating it like vacation, and I didn't have to fit into any pants. So I was eating everything. I was like counting the points in my head, but not really tracking them. And then when I realized we're going to be longer, I thought, after I put on the first 7 pounds, I said, whoa, let's get ourselves refocused and back on track. I was feeling overwhelmed, but I will tell you that for me, being the practice of being fully present has saved me. And one of the reasons I was feeling overwhelmed and eating my way through the first 2 weeks is because I had just come off of that tour. And I saw I see some faces that I saw on the tour. Hey, Lisa Schaub, I see you there. And I realized, as more and more information was coming forward, that wow, after every show, y'all, had 400, 500 people waiting in line to take pictures and shaking hands. So I shook hands, I hugged people, people kissed me, I kissed them, we cried, we danced, we did everything. And then I thought, 14, for the first 14 days after the tour finished, every day I was waiting to know whether or not I was going to be a victim of COVID-19. I am in the at-risk category. I am 66. Never before have I been reminded of that number, because at first when the news started coming out about it affecting elderly people, I was like, oh, so sad, the elderly people. Then I realized they were talking about people over 60. Oh, they're talking about me. Oh, I didn't realize I was elderly. Okay, thanks so much. And as I've shared with so many of you, I had pneumonia last year. So I'm really in that category of at risk. So I was worried. And if you're watching the news every day, as I know we all have been, needed it for information, I have now stopped and limited that for myself. If you're watching the news every day, you can get overwhelmed with the stories. And I was reading every terrible, horrible story of what it does to your body and how it shuts down your lungs, and then it makes your heart race, and then your kidneys fail, and all of that. Okay, do I have a witness over there? I see you, Linda. And so I had to stop doing that. I had to stop doing that. And every time I would get overwhelmed, I would do this. I would just literally go to my breath and remind myself that breath is the presence of life. It reminds you that the breath is literally the source of life for you. Come back to focus. And I would say, in this moment, I am well. In this moment, I'm okay. I am not in the hospital. I am not on a respirator. I am not that story. In this moment, I am breathing. I am well. I'm okay. Coming back to the moment, reminding myself In this moment, I am well. So I believe that the first step toward focus is to start exactly where you are.
Do you think you do so well in business because you dedicated to looking after your body and leading an active lifestyle?
100%. I think if you can find an hour or two a day for yourself, for your body, then you're going to be able to do, 5 or 6 more hours of creativity throughout the day. And we all know, when we let ourselves go, we're just not going to perform as well. So, one of the reasons we set up health clubs in pretty well all the major cities around the world is it is a passion of mine. I think it's so important that people, keep healthy.
I think we as human beings are endlessly curious about ourselves, and we love to test ourselves constantly. We find all sorts of arenas to test ourselves in, and you can right now, I have a racing sail. I have the fastest racing sailboat in the world, maybe the fastest racing sailboat in history. Sayonara has raced 26 times. We have 24 firsts and 2 seconds. And I'm discovering all sorts of things about me as I race that boat. I discover all sorts of things about me every day as Oracle competes with Microsoft for supremacy in the software world. So there's a wonderful saying that's dead wrong that says, why did you climb the mountain? I climbed the mountain because it was there. That is utter nonsense. It's ludicrous and absurd. You climbed the mountain because you were there, and you were curious if you could do it. You wondered what it would be like. You wondered what the view was from the top. And that's how we explore. The thing that we're most interested in is exploring our own limits and exploring our relationship with others. We're much more interested in each other and ourselves than we are everything else.
This entrepreneur brand logo was done by a top freelancer on Fiverr.
Showing up means showing up. It don't mean you got to the office.
Some special bonus clips that I think you're going to enjoy. But before that, it's time for the Billionaire Mindset question of the day. I want to know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? Also, if you've already got your Billionaire Mindset companion PDF calendar, get ready for another amazing video tomorrow. Or if you don't have it yet, you can get it for free in the first line of the description below. And if you're enjoying this Billionaire Mindset series, give me a hashtag Billionaire Mindset in the comments below so I can celebrate you. Most people are crazy big.
Important thing, aside from the things I've talked about already, is really who you associate with. You want to associate with people that are better than you are. I mean, basically, you'll go in the direction of the people that you associate with, and you want to have the right heroes. You want people, if you want to emulate somebody, you better pick very carefully who you want to emulate. And when obviously you can't pick your parents, they're going to have an enormous influence on you, but you don't get a choice on that. But you get choices as you go down the line, and who you admire, who you want to copy, and the most important for most people in terms of that decision is their spouse. It's also important in terms of a partner in business, but the partner in life is the most important one. You want to pick a spouse that's better than you are, and then he or she, and you hope they don't figure.
Legs crossed, back straight, eyes closed. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel the power of you taking control of your breathing. It's the same power you use to control your mind, to control your thoughts. One breath at a time, one thought at a time. Good thoughts in, bad thoughts out. That's the way we control our mind. Now, we may not be in our gym at Beverly Glen today, but we still get to work on growing our minds, growing our bodies right here, right now. See, that's our energy. That's our thinking. And that thinking, your determination, that goes with you wherever you are. Because the gym of life is everywhere. And we're going to work on it right now and all the time, no matter what. No matter what. So right now, I want you to picture in your mind, when that music shuts off, see yourself doing the best walk you've ever done. Right where you are. Right where you're sitting right now. You're going to stand up, you're going to take steps in one spot, or you're going to go back and forth, side to side. But see yourself doing that to the best of your ability. Because you know the truth. The way you do that, the way you take this vision right now in your mind and bring it out into the world, it's the way you can do anything. But you gotta want it. You gotta want it real bad. You have to have the motivation to do it. And you got it in you. You got your determination.
Ready to start our warm-up? We're going to start off by just walking on the spot. You start getting your arms involved. A little bit higher with our knees. You got some room, you can walk a few steps forward, a few steps back. And we're just going to go with high knees and get opposite knee, opposite arm. So now we're gonna go to heel kicks. Try to get your heel as high as you can towards your backside. We're gonna do some side shuffles. Just gonna go off a few steps to your side. See how much room you have. You might have enough room for 2 shuffles, possibly 3 shuffles. And now we're gonna do some leg swings. You have a wall, you can hold on to your wall. Work both sides. We're going to move to some hamstring stretches as we move. So you're just going to go down, try to touch heel to the floor, try to get as low as you can. You don't need to touch the ground. You're just sweeping the floor with your arms. Just going heel to toe, heel to toe, heel to toe. Awesome. Some big arm circles forward. A little bit smaller. And smaller. Now we can go reverse. A little bit larger. Larger. And nice and big circles. Awesome. Should be ready for our workout now that we're nice and warmed up. That was a great workout. Now it's time for our cool down. Let's start off with a few cool down stretches. Start off with the shoulder stretch. Take your right arm, place it across your body. You can use your left arm to pull it towards your body gently. Let's switch with your left arm. Next, we're going to try an overhead stretch. Arms together, just reach up for the sky. And we're going to do hands behind your back, stick out your chest. We're just going to do a chest stretch. Awesome. We're going to go down to the floor in a kneeling position. Start off with my right knee back, left knee forward. And all I'm going to do is a hip flexor and I'm going to move forward, keeping your body nice and straight. Move forward and hold. And switch. Remain straight and lean. Your front foot is flat on the floor. Next one, we're going to go onto our stomachs. On your elbows, elbows are directly under your shoulders, and we're just going to come up like a cobra. We're going to turn over onto our backs. Arms out. We're going to start off with our right leg, trying to touch our left hand, but keeping our right shoulder onto the ground. And let gravity do the work. Bring it back and try left foot, trying to touch our right hand. Keeping both shoulders onto the floor. And back up. Last one, we're going to do a hamstring stretch. This one, I need you to have your knees slightly bent, feet shoulder width apart. We're going to keep our back straight on this, and we're going to try and get as far down as we can. Some of you will be able to touch your toes. What I don't want you to do is have your legs straight and do this. What you want to do is slight bend, keep your back straight, and see how far down you can go and hold. Great job.
As you control your breathing, you got your legs crossed and your back straight and your eyes closed. Reflect back on how you did today. Are you satisfied with your effort? Maybe nobody was watching you. Certainly I wasn't watching you. But you know the truth. Even if no one's watching, there is always one that knows the truth. And you know the truth. You were born to win, to control your mind, to be your best, especially when others are not looking. You were born to win with your determination. See, anybody can choose and lose, lie, cheat, not do their best on an exercise or whatever it is they're doing. But to determine, to win, to be your best, to be positive, to be your true great self, that's hard. But it's possible. And we were all born to do that. To use our determination to be the best we can be. Not just for ourselves, but for each other. If you didn't do your best today on the exercises, that's just information. See, there's no such thing as failure. There's no such thing as a waste of time if you use your determination, your power to think and to be better the next time you get that chance. And you know the truth about yourself. You know whether or not you did your best today. You are your greatest judge. But I believe in you. I believe you did your best. But the most important thing is, do you believe in yourself? Do you believe you did your best? And if you didn't, why not? It's probably because you didn't want to. But you were born to want something, to have the motivation, to use what's already in you. Your power to think and to do. Even when you don't feel like it. You see, our thoughts are connected to our feelings. So if we can control our thoughts, we can control our feelings. You were born to be happy, to be your best. You weren't born to lose, to be sad, to be depressed, to be anxious, to be fearful, to believe any negativity or lies about you. No. That's a lie. Those are lies, lying stories we've believed for too long. It's time to believe the truth about you and never forget it. No matter where we are, whether we're at the gym in Beverly Glen, whether we're at home, especially now, wherever we are. It's our time. We were built for this. Determination was given to us for this. These uncertain times. But you get to control the one absolute certainty. You get to control your own mind. And with that, you can have and be all you ever dreamed of. Have a great day, everyone, and have a great life, always, no matter what. I'll see you all soon again. I love you guys so much.
To be an awesome year. And it can, through simple actions. I love the topic of habits, but let's be honest, it gets overwhelming sometimes. There are articles telling us to change our life in a matter of seconds, as if it was no biggie. I'd love to meditate for 2 hours every day and read 2 books a week, but I'm sorry, I've only got 24 hours and other tasks to do. That's why I started implementing microscopic habits in the past few years. These never took much time away and don't steal my energy as some other habits do. But, above all, they've added to the quality of my life tremendously. Pick one, pick 13, or all 21 if you want. You don't need to do all of them all the time. I often skip some of them when life gets in the way, but I come back as soon as I can. You can too. 1. Write 3 things you're grateful for. Hell, start with 1 if need be. The goal is to always be looking for the positive in each day. Yes, that's also for when you've had the worst day and you want to punch the next person who even dares look at you. I started this habit 2 years ago, and it's probably the most consistent one I've done. It's easy and helps reframe the bad days. When I struggle to find a positive aspect in the previous day, I usually say I'm grateful for being alive and with a future full of possibilities. Simple, but does the trick in the long run. 2. Refuse once a week. If you accept everything coming your way, you'll never have time for yourself. Create it by refusing whatever you're not excited about during the week. Start by refusing once and see how liberating it is. You can also set higher limits of time for others, so there's always some leeway for yourself. Someone wants to have a meeting you consider pointless. Say you're busy. 3 friends want your help. Tell one of them they might need to find someone else. As a heads up, if you currently accept everything, people will need some time to adapt to this change. But, with time, they will accept it. 3. Exercise for a minute when you wake up. 1 single minute. Nothing more. Even in your busy life, you can find the time for that, right? I'm not asking for a fully fledged workout, just a few simple exercises. I usually go for 30 push-ups and a minimum of 30 seconds of planking. Exercising first thing in the morning gets the blood flowing and gets you out of the morning fog you could be experiencing. If you prefer a full workout in the morning, go ahead. But even if you prefer the evening, 1 minute in the morning doesn't hurt. It helps. 4. Invest in experiences. How often do you spend money on objects? Compare that number to how often you invest in experiences. My guess is you invest more in objects. And even if you spend the same amount on both, that's still not the best. What we remember isn't objects, it's experiences. At best, objects help us remember some experiences. In 2020, I often met friends outside for a walk or went on short trips with them. We created memories. We bonded. In 2021, I plan on increasing that even more. 5. Organize your home. If you've never done it, try it. Whether you've got space or not, you can easily reorganize your home. In which way, you ask? Well, that'll depend on what you do at home. For me, I have set different spaces for different tasks: reading, working, meditating, sleeping, gaming, and so on. When I play computer games, I transfer my computer to the dedicated spot for gaming. 6. Throw things away. If you've never consciously made an effort to throw something away you've kept because it could be useful, then try it today. It's liberating. You might get a taste for it and keep doing it. Or you might want to throw away 465 items as I did last November following the minimalism game. Either way, there's a lot of rubbish you could throw away, and that creates space. There's also a lot of stuff you're hanging on to, even though it doesn't deserve it. My 11-year collection of the monthly free magazine Korea definitely didn't have to stay. Neither did my broken nunchuck. 7. Manage your money. This is not about investing, although that's also a good habit. This is about knowing where your money is coming from and going to. Most parents have this somewhat figured out, but I've seen many other people completely ignore this. It doesn't take long. You can set a free app like Money Manager. Enter what you have and then automate regular incomes and expenses. When that's done, just enter in a few taps, your other expenses and their categories. Soon enough, you'll know where you spend your money. Simple, and it doesn't take more than a few seconds. 8. Stand up every hour. This is, without fault, the hardest one of all for me. It's simple and I know it's good for the body. Yet, I can't seem to remember. Notifications don't work, and even if I remember to stand up while writing, I don't want to break my flow. On paper, this is among the easier tiny habits to set. Yet, this one's so hard to remember because we haven't done it most of our lives. We've stayed sitting for hours on end, for hundreds of thousands of hours. Change that. 9. Follow this simple proverb. I live my life by quand on n'a pas de tête, on a deux jambes. This means, when we have no head, we have legs. It might seem weird, but I use it as a way to accept whatever happens. Most often, this is about forgetting something and having to go back home to pick it up. Don't get angry when you can't find your keys or forget to buy your wine at the supermarket. Remind yourself, you've got to have legs and do what needs to be done. Accept that what's done is done. All you can do is go forward. 10. Ask open-ended questions. Apart from a few topics, I'm not a great talker. I've gotten better with a simple trick. I ask open-ended questions as often as possible. I become a child asking why, where, when, who, what, which, and all other sorts of such questions. Sometimes the situation doesn't fit for this, but most often it does. Ask open questions whenever you can, and you'll be seen as a better interlocutor. Why? Because you help keep the conversation going, and people love talking about themselves. 11. Turn off notifications. Start for an hour a day. If you can last longer, do it. This isn't as hard as you think it is. The only reason you're not doing it is that being reachable has become a habit. That's one you need to change. It takes about 25 minutes to regain your focus, even if you only look at a notification for a second. Erase those for an hour, and you'll be able to accomplish a lot more. I've gotten addicted to it, so my notifications are off for 2/3 of my day now. 12. Prepare your clothes. Simple, but efficient. Why would you waste some of your precious mental energy in the morning when you could use whatever's left the previous night? It doesn't create havoc in your daily life, yet helps you save your energy for what matters. Awesome, right? 13. Watch the news less. Chances are you already started doing it in 2020 to avoid the mess that year was. If not, start today. No matter how curious you are, you don't need to watch the news 3 times a day, let alone 10. If you can, only watch or read the news once.
Reading is to your mind what exercise is to your body. If you have too much to read and
around midday, you probably don't need more. I've reduced my news intake to once every 2 days, and this works great. I'm always on track with what happens in the world and never overwhelmed. I even have more time for myself. 14. Drink more water. Another simple, tiny habit. It's great for your health, and you can get it pretty much anywhere. Now I wonder, why aren't you already drinking more water? Come on, stop watching for a second and do it. 15. Discover one new thing a month. My favorite of them all. Drop all expectations and just discover something new each month. It could be diving into a topic you've been curious about. You could read about the Battle of Marignano, or look into the culture of Pericura. Either way, discovering something new is exciting. It's also useful because it keeps us curious and slowly expands our skills or knowledge over time. Do it the way you want. Spend 10 hours on it one Saturday, or a few minutes a day for a month. What matters is for you to discover something new. 16. Make your bed. Start with a win by making your bed. As Admiral William McRaven said in a speech, another simple habit to add, it doesn't change your life right away. But, again, that's not the goal. All we want here is to slightly improve it without messing with our general flow. Get up, make your bed, and then follow with loads of other wins for the rest of the day. 17. Spend a minute a day with yourself. Just one. Come on, I know you can do it. No phone, no computer, no tablet, nor friends or pets around. Just you and your thoughts. Do this while on the toilet if need be. Doing this for a minute won't change your life either, but it'll help you start being aware of what you think, instead of being on autopilot. Start with a minute and increase this as you go. Think about what you think. Talk to yourself. Just accept whatever your thoughts are and move on. Self-awareness is way underrated in our world. 18. Ask yourself whether what you're doing is worth it. There's a lot of actions we do that don't matter. To be more precise, many aren't worth our time. We finish them and move on until we think back a week later, thinking about how much time we wasted on it. If you had 2 months left to live, would you be laying on the couch binge-watching The Queen's Gambit? Or would you be writing that masterpiece you've always wanted? 19. If a task takes 2 minutes, do it right away. There's a lot of advice about doing whatever takes less than 5 minutes right away. I disagree. 5 minutes is still quite some time and can mess up the rest of my schedule. Instead, I've set 2 minutes as the higher limit to do right away. If it takes 5 minutes, write it on paper and hang it in front of you. Then do it within the next hour and a half. It gives you some leeway, yet prevents you from procrastinating for days. 20. Take care of your posture. A bad posture has a lot of repercussions in the long run. I've had a hunched back for so long, I struggle to keep it straight now. I forget it all the time, but whenever it comes to mind, I sit straight again, like I just did when I started writing this part. A bit of effort goes a long way. If you still have a good posture, treasure it and notice when it's not the case. If you have a bad posture, hang reminders around. For a while, my phone's background picture was a simple sentence: stand straight. 21. Read for 15 minutes a day.
This entrepreneur brand logo was done by a top freelancer on Fiverr. Is simple.
I know this one takes a bit longer, but it's worth it. As Jim Quick says all the time, leaders are readers. It's not just leaders. It's everybody who wants to live a better life. Whether you read fiction or non-fiction doesn't matter. Both have their advantages. What matters is that you read. And if you can't find 15 minutes each, then go for 1 hour 45 a week. It's only a start, but it's more than most people. After all, a survey in 2019 said that 70% of US adults had not been in a bookstore in the last 5 years. There are big, hard to implement habits, and there are small, easy to implement habits. I love both, but it's clear the latter ones are easier to add to our already, seemingly, busy life. All things considered, they are also life-changing in the very long run. The only difficulty with those is how hidden their impact is. It's easy to drop them because you don't see how useful they are. Keep at them for long enough and your life will improve. 2021 can be that year. You can start changing your life. You can be happier with tiny changes. Hey, you can even start today. Go ahead, stand up, and go throw something away to start you off. It's only the beginning.